Hello everyone, I am Law from Excel Software. Today I want to share with you the AutoCAD Stock Assembly Module. This AutoCAD Stock Assembly Module is designed specifically for factories. So sometimes we also call it BOM. Module stands for Bill of Material. So the whole concept is to assemble many materials together to become a finished product. Then our system will automatically calculate the costing. At the same time, it will add the finished goods stock into our system and deduct the sub-items. So the whole concept is like this. It is automated. With this, you don't have to manually calculate the costing. So you can imagine a car. A car has many parts that require some labor costs or some glue or other things to assemble into a finished product. And before our finished product, there might be some plastic packaging before sending it to the customer. So this is the whole costing. It's not just its raw materials. So you see here, generally we take the material, packaging material, and then add some overhead. Overhead might be some glue, some labor costs, and so on. Then it becomes a finished good. So in the entire stock assembly module of AutoCount, you first need to set this BOM. This BOM is its formula, the formula for what components are needed to become a product. So you need to set it first. You can set it from the item section, use more stock maintenance, or use Excel, which is a plugin designed by our team, the Excel software team. So you can buy this plugin from us to import the listing into the AutoCount system. All right, so please let's see how to set up this AutoCount assembly, which is what we call the BOM, Bill of Material. It is divided into several parts. The first is that later you see here, I have done it. Finished good, label charge, packaging material, then there is raw material. So we need to set the formula in this finished good. So you can edit here in the finished good and take a look. If sometimes you are using the simple layout, you won't see the BOM part. So you need to right click and switch to advanced. In the advanced layout, there is the BOM, and here in the BOM, you set it up. You need 3 raw materials, raw material 1 and 2 of raw material 2. Packaging material 1. Label charge 1. Actually, you can put the label charge here, or you can choose not to put it here and instead place it under overhead cost or assembly cost. Overhead cost means that whether you produce 100 or 10,000, it just uses $10. This is called overhead cost. But if you put $5 for assembly cost, it means every time you produce for each production, it will add an additional $5. The concept is a little different. So let me explain again. If it's overhead cost, no matter if you produce 100, you set $15, it will only be $15. But if I put 5 in assembly cost, if you produce 100, it will be 100 times 5, which is $500 in cost. So for this sample, just follow this 3, 2, 1, 1. Okay, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 5. Let's see what the result is. The second setting method, you don't necessarily have to set it here in the item section. If you find it busy and troublesome to set it here, you can also go to more stock maintenance. In this more stock maintenance, there is an item book maintenance. Item book maintenance, then you can edit, you add it yourself. New, then you select, this is finished goods. Then you need to use some stuff item to key in. Because previously I keyed it in the finished goods section, it will be displayed here. Just click edit and you can see its settings. You can set it up here. It depends on your company. If your company is separated and this is a function that only the production department can use and they cannot see your items, then you use this item maintenance, book maintenance here to set up. Then there is a third method, which is using Excel. That is a program written by our team. Or if you want to use Excel, you need to purchase that Excel from our team to import it into AutoCount's BOM. So first, you must set it up properly, set it up first, then you can talk about how to go into production. When it comes to production, we have something called stock assembly order and stock assembly. These two functions, stock assembly order is similar to our sales order. Some factories call it job order or production order, depending on the company. It's actually like maybe the customer ordered a finished good. Customer A, he ordered product. So this product is a good finished good one, and there are 100 sets. He ordered 100 sets, but I don't have them in production. No stock to give to the customer. After you have the sales order, you need to prepare for preparing production. We can use the stock assembly order. Here, you can do the output. Okay, transfer from the sales order these 100 units. If your back house has 80, you only make 80. Back house has 20, you only need to make 80. So you select 80 here, no problem. So enter 80, quantity here, and you just need this thing 12, you enter 12. So that's it. So the system will calculate 80 for you, needing 3, okay? 3 raw material, A, 1. Material 2 also needs 160, then packaging 80, labor cost is 10, then add 10 yuan to each one, 80, added 960, or you use assembly cost is 5, so 80 at 5 is 400. So it depends on how you present it. You can present it using labor cost here, or you can use assembly cost to present it. In this case, I didn't set it to all way cost, so it's just this simple. Then you just save and preview. It will generate an assembly order. This order is what we send to the production department to inform them that we need to prepare 80 pieces for a customer, or there is a customer who needs these 80 pieces of products. So quality, what is needed? This material, some production just takes this assembly order to the warehouse to get the material, to prepare those materials. Once enough material is prepared, then start the process 20. Assume process 20, we update here in stock assembly. Also, generally, we transfer from assembly order. Now assembled 25 units and our raw materials are this much and the costing comes out to be this much. So the entire system will list it out. So similarly, you can go back to the stock assembly order here. You can pre-list, and there's an outstanding stock assembly order listing. Here, you can see the original 80, now outstanding 55. 80 minus 55 is 25. 20 have been produced, 25. So the whole concept is a bit like a sales order to invoice, sales order to... But similarly, you don't necessarily have to use a stock assembly order. You can skip it. If you want to produce directly, you can just enter stock assembly yourself. It's also possible. You don't necessarily have to use the transfer concept. You don't have to apply the transfer concept, not necessarily. So pay attention and look here. I can first produce semi-finished goods, and then the semi-finished goods can be turned into finished goods as well. So it doesn't have to be finished goods. You can make it into semi-finished goods. So of course, you need to update properly. Your account will be deducted. These groups are semi-finished goods or work in progress. So you need to update its account stock balance and stock value into work in progress. So if there is a balance, these are semi-finished goods will go into work in progress. It's that simple. You see, just now we did a stock assembly. This stock assembly here requires 75 quantities to produce these 25 finished goods, raw made 175. So if you look back at the stock card report, you can see its inflow and outflow. In the stock card report here, packaging material code is 25, but raw made code is 75. So you can see that the system automatically deducts the raw materials for you. So you don't have to worry about the costing issue. Moreover, I actually made this purchase in advance. So for this purchase, I did 100, costing $5, $10, $20, $15. So the system will automatically calculate the costing for the finished good, and it will calculate $92. Then based on those finished goods costing and the all-way cost, labor cost added together. So the whole concept is like this. Back to our notes. I have already explained the stock assembly order. It is a production order or a job order, and it will automatically add the finished goods and deduct the stock item, then calculate costing, automatically calculate that costing. So for some other functions like assembly cost and all-way cost. So I just explained a little bit about what assembly cost and all-way cost are. So now let me demonstrate again this all-way cost and assembly cost. So I'll use the same example. This bomb, you see this assembly cost is $5 and there's no all-way cost here. Assume this all-way cost is $13 for my first material. Now we fill it in. And then there's one thing, which is this costing. You see this costing. Generally, we use up-to-date cost. It's simpler this way. Up-to-date cost is calculated based on our stock item, the cost of purchase. So now I use standard cost. Standard cost is the cost within our item. Whatever cost is filled in, this is called standard cost. If you don't want to track accurately with standard cost, generally we use up-to-date cost. Do not use auto update. This means you enter it yourself. You don't plan to use the system's cost and you plan to calculate the costing yourself. That's when you don't use auto update. Generally, up-to-date cost is used. Then using auto update cost, every time you purchase goods and produce, it will be based on your latest statistics. Back to the previous function, back to that. Our all-way cost is $13 and assembly cost is $5. So when we create a sample, select assembly, then you knew. So I enter manually. Let's say I enter 10. So you will find here 10 times 10 is 100. 100 plus 13. So it's about 313. Then below is $5. How would they know? Another 933 divided by 10, and some item cost is $33.30. The entire system will use this concept to calculate the costing. So you can test it yourself. I didn't save this, my sample. The next function is called BOM option, means if raw material 1 is not enough, I will use raw material 3 to replace it. That is option 2. Or if I don't want yellow, I want blue. So there are different color options. This is called a BOM option. So we don't need to reset the entire BOM. You just need to set what raw material you don't want and what raw material you want to add. And you can simply add 1 and subtract 1. It's just that simple a concept. So now I'll demonstrate for everyone. In this stock down here, there's something called BOM option. This BOM option here, you can add an option. First, you need to decide what finished good to put, but this is placed in FG1. If RM1 is not available, you replace it with RM3, okay? Maybe RM3, you need to put 2 to replace it. So you put 2 then. So you need to deduct 1, right? its material, maybe previously our material was reduced by 2. Raw material, we look back, so how much is needed? We need to use 3 raw material 1. If we don't have enough of the 3, we need to replace them with 3 raw material 3, and that will work. Using the formula of 3, suppose this finished good 1 is not enough, we need to deduct 3 raw material 1 and add 3 new ones from the formula. That's the concept.
Maybe its overhead cost is not high. Previously, it was $12 or $13. Now it is $10. So you can use this concept to set this RM1, raw material 1, and replace it with raw material 3 using this formula.
So we have to apply. So when we start assembly, so it's raw material 1. Of course, you can change it yourself. But sometimes it has many formulas and the formula is very complex, so you can't change it automatically. In this situation, still use the system BOM option and check here. After checking, it will help you convert raw material 3 in. The costing is $10, not the $13 costing from before. So the whole concept is like this. All right, let's save it. Save it. Looking back at the stock report, actually, this is the stock report. It should be deducted from material 3. It did not deduct material 1. So material 2 is deducted twice, but material 1 is not deducted.
The function of this BOM option is just that simple. Here we explain variance and dismantled. Variance is when some stock is not used as much. That's called variance. Originally, we talked about 3 raw material 1, but now only 2 have been used.
So that's as a count now of variance. A dismantled means something couldn't be completed. If we originally produced 10, but 1 couldn't be completed, it can produce at most 9. Then we only deduct stock for 9. So dismantled is not recommended to use, but it's rarely applicable. I don't really suggest using dismantled. Although if you really produce 10 and 1 is broken, just do a write-off here. That's what write-off means. Why is it not say something but write off, right? Because the graph will absorb the costing, and if the good spot has adjustment, it will deduct the cost. So dismantled quantity is not highly recommended, but I will show everyone, look at the sample. So does it mean show variance and dismantled? So to make it simple for everyone to understand, I will put 11. Oh, 11.
So go back and look at the stock card. The stock card for the 11th should only have 1 item, right?
So this item, you'll see it needs 1 finished good and it needs 1 packaging material. Raw material 1 is not used. Raw material 2 uses 2. Raw material 3 uses 3. Suppose I only use 2 of the 3. Let's look at the assembly. So here we have this 3, not used that much. The actual quantity you use is 2. So we enter 2 and you will see a variance of -1 and the costing used decreases. So afterward, we look back at the stock card. Don't use this format. Look, so the quantity produced 1 finished good, but only used 2 of this raw material 3, only used 2, and the others remain unchanged. Its biggest impact is on the costing. The biggest impact is within the entire costing. So the last function, dismantled, what is its idea of dismantled? We also look at the stock card. Oh, the stock card for the 10th. So on the 10th, we produce 25, deducted 25 of packaging material, that raw material, 75. So in the end, this material 3 also deducted 50. So let's try and see. So dismantled, what will it affect? I'll go back to stock assembly here. Maybe dismantle this here, dismantle this here. This needs 3 materials. So a total of this material to produce. Each time use 3. If we dismantle 3, then we save them. So go check that stock card record. Inquiry preview, you will see it only produced 24 because every 3 material 1. Material 1, 75. It has now only used 72. It produced 24. The others haven't changed. This material 2 hasn't changed. Packaging material also hasn't changed. If 1 part affects the final finished good, 1 part will affect the finished good. This is dismantled. Dismantled means 1 part is incomplete. It's like scaffolding. If it's missing this part, the final product can't be completed, but the other materials are still because they are still used. That's the whole concept. If possible, it's not really recommended to use this dismantled concept. After you dismantle, there will be a dismantled label here, so it will show in this system here. So we have roughly explained these features. So let's look at some reports and some inquiry functions. Look at the inquiry. There are 2 inquiries. One is to check what products can be produced with the raw material, which requires all parts. The other is to check if we have enough finished goods for production. So there are 2 functions before we process production that we can use for checking first. This is where the checking is done, using these 2 functions for checking. Checking the inquiry here, there is a material usage inquiry. So let's say this is raw material 1, raw mate 1. Oh, selected the wrong one. Raw mate 1 can be used to produce these two. One is finished good, one requires semi-finished good that requires one piece. The other one is raw mate 2, so it will list what products can be produced with it. That's the concept. As for looking at another function, it's about seeing that now I want to produce this finished good. So when producing 85 pieces, how many materials do I need? And are there enough materials? Here, it will show you whether it's enough or not, and then the system will automatically generate it. So of course, you can keep calculating 4 or 5 products, 10 products. If there are 10 products, you can place an order. So check if there is enough stock, and here is a summary. And if the summary shows negative, it means there is not enough stock. So if you include those PO and SO, you can check these PO, SO. So multi-level, we will explain what multi-level is in the next video. So when you inquire, it will include those SO, PO, etc. To get this and this assembly order quantity, we will explain with another record later. So the sole concept is like this. So on this side, this is the required quantity, and whether the quantity is sufficient, you can see on both sides. And there are 2 reports here. As for the labor cost, you don't need to worry about it. This is a service item, right? The negative for service items is not important. The most important are those with item codes, with stock control. Those are more important. Labor charges being negative are definitely not an issue. Let's take a look at these 4 reports. One is the BOM listing, which shows what BOMs we have set. And there is a listing of the BOMs, then whether there is enough stock and if we need to order more, whether the material has already been sent to production or is on order. Then there is outstanding, which I already mentioned and showed earlier. That is, you ask the production line to produce 100, but you produce 20, leaving a balance of 80. So that is the outstanding assembly order report, which I have already shown. So I won't show it again. Then there is the stock assembly listing, which shows how much we have produced. Okay, there is a report on how much was produced this month or how many times for a particular item. So today we will talk about these 3 reports. Let's start with the BOM listing. The BOM listing is where after I have set up the BOM, I want to print out the report to confirm whether what I said is correct or not. Then you go down here, there is a BOM listing report. This BOM listing report, you can preview it, then come to this formula. Of course, it also brings some data, like whether the on-hand quantity is sufficient, what the costing is. It will also have this data for these items. Then continue to check the quantity in these parts. And the rest are some settings. You can set them yourself. All these settings, like whether to include SOA or not, you can choose yourself. So the second report is about how many finished seedlings there are, the quantity. So the quantity of finished seedlings is in the stock assembly section where there is a print listing, and it has a detailed listing and a regular listing. You can check it yourself. So in the end, it will produce some data. This finished good 1, what was produced. Finished good 2, that is detailed. You can go to detailed here and group by item. Then you can see how much material was used. Disbanded. So there are no disbanded products. Every item has disbanded. You can see everything here. Let's first look at this. We call it the available stock status report. This report is usually for us to check if some raw materials or some finished products are in sufficient supply. So it seems like, in this case, this finished good, 50 have already been produced. The customer wants to order 100 and our on-hand stock is actually 25. So now we only need 20 to produce 20 for the customer. The material is the same. If the material here is not enough, do you see? Because there is a production order for 100 pieces and you still need to use 165. If you only have 28 on hand, you need to start purchasing. This available stock status report is for this purpose. It shows us which raw materials need to be ordered and which finished products are already completed. So after it's done, do we have enough stock for the customer? So finally, the last report is the finished product from the stock assembly. There is 1 report, 2 reports. This one is how much raw material was used. This one is the product. For the finished products, when you inquire, you see that the report doesn't mention finished goods, but you can ask our team to add the finished goods, and then we can calculate how many raw materials each finished good used during this period, or you can set your own period. And it also has disbanded. What is a disbanded item? It also has some reports. You can make them. Making those reports is no problem. Then after that, debitos, you look at this report here. So it shows what raw materials are needed. Actually, here you can see which raw materials are needed. Which raw materials? So when you preview, it will list what materials were used on which date. This can also be made into a listing. Both can be made into listing reports for everyone's reference. As long as it's on the screen, we can turn all the data into reports for everyone. We have explained these reports. So now let's look at the hidden feature in the stock assembly module. There is actually an auxiliary function, which is when our customer orders a certain amount. After we prepare it, there will be a notification, notify the sales order on this product. How does this work? Let me demonstrate. So this function is in the tools option here. Under Customized Invoicing 2, there's Notify all sales orders that have this product. So there's this function. All right, after we select it, let me demonstrate. First, I'll restock the material because it's not enough now. Those materials are 200, 250. After replenishing that material, we then proceed to production. Okay, production assembly for the customer's order. This customer order 100 units. So do we have enough stock? So currently on hand, we have 25. The customer wants to order 100 units. We have 25 on hand. So we still need 75.
So because production hasn't produced yet, 55 more are needed. In this case, we go to production assembly here. Let's say we assemble 100 more. For 100, I'm not sure if the materials are enough. Let's try. Save. It's enough, the materials are enough, and then the system. When we log in, you can see down here. Can you see it?
There is a notify function. It will notify you about this production. So you double click, it will say, these sales order finished goods, one is already completed, notifying you to prepare for shipment. This is its hidden function.
So of course, it is inserted in this notification box. If you don't want it to pop up next time, you can adjust it. Otherwise, every time you log into the account, it will notify you once. Every time you log in, it will pop up to let you confirm the product once more down there.
So you see it has been produced but not yet shipped. Next, we will explain some related modules. I will first talk about the fifth person, some situations they usually encounter. This is quite serious.
So let me show everyone.
Currently, you see all the products are single, that single and single that you own. So if I have applied this multi-you-own, this module, basic multi-you-own module, in this situation, we might have grams, kilograms. It has different units, but when we set the BOM, you see when setting the BOM, it doesn't allow you to set the unit here. And this sub-material, whether it is in kilograms, grams, or packets, we don't know. We only follow the base.
If your base raw material is grams,
if it is kilograms, it follows kilograms. It follows the base, it follows the base, no matter if you have. Okay, maybe this is a carton, etc. So one carton contains 12 units, raw material 1. We set it like this, but you see on the finished good side, there's never anything on the raw material side. We don't know if it's a carton or a unit. So when we do a testing assembly, let's say, now I'm doing a testing on the 12 finished good one, quality one. Which 3 is it? Is it 3 units or 3 cartons? So our testing will tell us. So you go back and look at that stock cut report. Look here, we go to the 12th, page 12, inquiry preview. It comes out, you see it's 3 units, not 3 cartons. It's deducted from the unit side, and then it follows the base UO. Following down, this module is called the advanced item module. The purpose of this advanced item module is actually to control when we set the BOM formula, we might set it incorrectly. How do we control it? Let me give an example. For instance, with the stock item here, this raw material 2, you see there's no distinction here whether it is a finished good or raw material. But when we check this advanced item module here, after that, it has one more option. Like with this additional option, you can choose whether it is raw material or finished good. If it is neither raw material nor finished good, in the end, you won't be able to find that product here. It can't find this product because it is untagged in this place. Similarly, if I untag it, when it goes to the finished goods section, it also cannot be found. You see, it could be found before, but now that I have untagged it, it cannot find this raw material because I untagged the raw material function from that finished good, raw material 2. Moreover, when it goes to the item BOM maintenance, it also can't find this material. It can't find the material because I have already deleted it. It's not just the material, the finished good is the same. If you haven't ticked it, if you haven't ticked the finished good here, then it won't randomly appear. For example, if you don't intend for all these to appear in the finished goods section, you just untick them. After unticking everything, you will notice something. When we go to set the BOM maintenance, only those products that are checked as finished goods will appear here. This is one of the uses of the advanced item to prevent the production department or other departments from messing up your list and your BOM list. This is one of the benefits. Finally, there are related modules, including this multi-level assembly. I will record another video for this. It's not just a single one, not just a single product. Now I am choosing a single product, saying I want to produce a semi-finished good. It is a single product. Once the semi-finished good is produced, I go to another flow, and another flow turns it into a finished good. So it is a single product. So multi-level means that at the same time, there are 10 processes running, but I don't want to record each process individually and record the stock. How to code? I want to code once, code 10 productions, 10 flows. So I use this multi-level assembly module. How to code? And each time it codes all the sub-items inside. It will use each process to code that stock. This is multi-level assembly. I will record another video on this. Then de-assembly is once the entire roll is completed, I disassemble it into smaller parts and then sell those parts, which is called de-assembly. I will also make another video on that. It is related and also requires setting the BOM formula, but we need to set how to calculate the costing when disassembling. And the last one is the assembly order processing module, which is used to calculate whether we have enough stock. And if not, we need to order more. It is more comprehensive. It's used for planning whether our materials are sufficient. I will explain these 3 modules in another video. So the whole stock assembly module, its concept is that simple. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I am Mr. Law from SR Software Solution. Thank you, everyone.